What's up, MineZ gamers? Today, we are going to deep dive into the state of MineZ currently and how I feel about it. Let's get into it. And now, disclaimer. Most of this video is just going to be me talking, so while that's happening, I hope you enjoy some B-roll footage from random MineZ events that I have recorded. It is a well-known fact that MineZ has more active players during the seasonal events such as Spookfest and Wonderland. Well, why is that? In my opinion, I believe it is because there is more to progress towards, along with enhanced loot around the map and OP supply drops. When MineZ is in its normal state, it lacks the punch that the seasonal events bring. Loot is at its bare minimum vanilla state, with little to get excited over. In recent years, I have been on and off playing MineZ. If you look at the history of my channel and my MineZ content, over half of it comes from the various seasonal events that MineZ bears host to. Eventually, when the events end, a lot of the player base ends up dying off, myself included. I believe this is due to the hype of something new and something fresh going away, especially after Wonderland ends, as there are not events for a while after that. Although I am very grateful that MineZ is still around to this day in 2026, I do believe that things can be done to better enhance the game to make it exciting when seasonal events are not active. I know that MineZ is in a bit of a development freeze with the upcoming version update. I am willing to wait until then if it means better content or more content. Although, I do have a few suggestions that I would implement if I was staff or knew how to code or had any development skill whatsoever. First, and this is purely a wishlist item, but this wishlist item I feel would bring immense value to the game and keep players coming back. A monthly rotating dungeon system where 5 or 6 or 7 new dungeons are introduced with new legendaries and new loot pools for said dungeons. I know even saying that is a very tedious task and more than likely won't happen. However, I feel it will keep the PvE scene alive with a new and fresh dungeon each month. Whether it be a tier 1 or tier 5, everyone loves new content. New content brings players back and gives creators of MineZ, such as myself, something to cover and hopes to bring more people to MineZ. With seasonal content updates, both PvPers and PvEers are given plenty of content to enjoy for the month that the event is active. However, once events end, PvPers are left with nothing but supply drops and fights between teams who just so happen to be active, if active at all, once events end. Give them more legendaries. Introduce a clan system, similar to how Annihilation has a clan system. Add a King of the Hill event to the supply drop rotations. Any improvement to the PvP scene will help bring back old players and new players alike because new content is there, and new content always means hype for what's to come. When I PvP, it's only during seasonal events, if I even PvP at all. Other than that, there is no incentive at all for a PvE player like myself to get out there and fight. I don't know the PvP scene like others do. So if anyone has any ideas on how to improve that area better than some of the ideas that I have, please share them down below. Another mechanic I would like to see added, a purely wishlist item, are town raids. This was a feature in MineZ 2. However, it can take its place in MineZ by giving people something to do and or something to look forward to while exploring the map. There could even be different tiers, depending on how north you are on the map, with rewards varying per level of town raid. For example, up north, there could be a town raid with Forsakens and Revenants, or a combination of both. The harder the raid, the better the rewards. I believe that could be a beneficial addition, welcomed by old and new players alike, and give people something to look out for while traveling the map. As with any other game in the world, evolving over time and content updates as a result of the evolution are necessary, and I feel like MineZ is very much lacking in that category. I know some of my suggestions are large reaches that, if considered, will take a long time to implement and bug test, etc. With that said, yes, some amazing updates have come out, such as the Cold Snap update, for example, that overhauled the entire snow biome. But I feel as if the dev team needs to be expanded to allow for further development of the game. Monthly content updates with new features, weapons, and mobs would keep MineZ feeling new and relevant. MineZ reached its peak well over a decade ago, but I look forward to the day where MineZ and Shotbow in general enjoys a revival of the player base. That can never happen if nothing new is being introduced to keep players engaged and excited. In 2026, MineZ is a very niche game mode with really only loyal players keeping it alive, but I believe that with some of these suggestions taken seriously, along with a lot of input from the community and staff with open ears, MineZ can go back to a state where big streamers and big content creators are attracted to help grow MineZ and Shotbow in general, which leads me to my next point. Advertise the server. Marketing has lacked for the Shotbow network for a while, and while I am doing my best with putting out pretty subpar MineZ content, there needs to be a bigger reach, which many of the official Shotbow pages have. Heck, let me run marketing for Shotbow, or let some of the PvP player base run it, because I've seen the videos that some of the PvP players make, and they are amazing. They take their time with the editing, and it looks like an overall professional advertisement video. Even things like reposting videos made by the community or a repost from the official Shotbow page can help both sides grow. I firmly believe that advertising is very crucial to growth. MineZ, I believe, will be around for quite some time. I believe that, and I hope you do too. However, players only look forward to seasonal events because it always guarantees some type of new content. I believe that with focused development and the incoming version port can help slightly revive MineZ if implemented properly. If anyone has suggestions, let's talk about them down below, because I think and believe that all loyal MineZ players want to see this game succeed rather than turn into another forgotten, nostalgia-based game mode. Thanks for watching.